There is an article that references Harvey Johnson's work, who is a master at his craft.
I first started doing elite athletes at Duke. I started developing techniques for dealing with stress fractures and stress reactions and rehab and all sorts of other injuries of the foot.
And coincidentally, Chelsea actually went to Duke and had a device constructed by Harvey when she was in college.
He had made orthotics for me like some points of my career when I was in LA, even my first year here. He had made some orthotics for me on the side. So me reaching out to him wasn't abnormal, but the stakes were just so high.
She knew what I did for her in 2015, and so she was pretty desperate. They weren't getting anywhere. So that's when she contacted me.
I need you to come through for me. Like, you're kind of my only hope and like who I'm gonna trust to get this done.
And she showed me the picture of the CT scan, and it wasn't healing. We talked back and forth, and I described why I'm doing the biomechanics, scientific rationales behind what I do, and how it has to fit, and how it has to work, and what the protocols were, and they understood them all.
Some of the risk factors for making the situation worse, we wanted to protect her against. We wanted a shank to be at the base so that it didn't allow much bending of the foot. So when she's rolling over her foot, instead of the foot bending, the only push-off she's getting is rolling off the toe. Gives me about that much movement. And on top of that is an orthotic, but it's hollowed out in the middle so that her brace that wraps around her forefoot fits on top of that. That doesn't allow rotation much at the midfoot. So you have a foot that should hit the ground, it should rotate in the middle, and it should roll off, okay? Chelsea can't do that. When she hits, she's not getting much torque midfoot, and then when she gets to the forefoot, she's not getting much push off.
Man, I put that thing in my shoe, everything changed. Like, I couldn't get off the floor, I couldn't really jump. My shoe was heavier, I had a half size bigger than normal. It was stretched differently than my right foot. Like, everything was just off.
Chelsea had to learn how to move and compensate and adjust mentally. See, she's been playing all these years with certain biofeedback coming from her foot. The point guard is the hardest player to adjust with this particular brace than any other player, because they do more cutting and twisting and torquing than any other athletes.
So I would go into my pull-up jumper and I was just like, this normally is money for me, like what's going on? And it's my foot.
You're a basketball player, you need to be able to bend your foot. And for the first few weeks, it's an adjustment period. Try playing basketball when you have to do everything flat-footed.
And I remember having a workout with Tyler, and he was just like, if you're gonna pull up this way, like we started trying to figure things out, like if you're gonna go left and pull up a little bit, you gotta jump a little bit more, you gotta put more power. So in the midst of a season, in a game, you're thinking about going into a pull-up and having more power and changing the mechanics of your shot. In the middle of people trying to like take your head off and win the basketball game, like you're the defending champs. That adjustment was really, really tough for me, because in my head, I'm just like, the player that I know to be is not there yet. It's not there, and it's gonna be a while.